Hi, I'm Lynn Morgan, your slipper-shod pastor, in church with you on this very warm Thursday. Yesterday, we learned that more than 100,000 people have died in the United States due to the coronavirus infection, and more than 500 of them were right here in Erie County. As I learned that, and had been watching that number climbing, I felt distressed. But in part, my distress was because the number did not have an emotional impact on me to the degree that I thought maybe it ought to. 100,000 people here in the United States are dead because of an illness. 500 right around me have died because of this particular illness. And I realized that it didn't have a deep emotional impact on me, not the way it would if it was one of those people who I knew, one of those people who I loved, who died for whatever cause. That would affect me more. I think this is human nature. It's certainly my nature. It may not be the best part of my nature or of human nature, but I think it is commonly understood that it's hard for us to grasp large numbers of people and feel for them. In 1947, Stalin was responsible for killing tens of millions of people by starvation because of the policies that he enacted in the Ukraine. And when he was confronted with this, his response was that the death of an individual is a tragedy. The death of a million is a statistic. He felt, and was correct in feeling, that he was insulated from the outrage, from the pain, from the horror that people would feel at the death of an individual, because they were absorbing such large numbers that they stopped feeling. They went numb. That's our nature. But it is not the nature of God. One of the Psalms that we often read in a funeral is from Psalm 116. And this is the verse that we often quote. "Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his servants." And that's not a wonderful English translation. It can be a little confusing. But what it means is that God considers the death of one of his servants as a costly loss, because God holds each of us precious. What that means to me is that with God we are never one of a statistic. We are one. We are an individual, one with whom God is in relationship, who God loves completely and cares for immensely, who considers our loss something costly, the loss of someone precious to him. That's an amazing affirmation of a God who knows each of us and loves us fully. And so when I hear that, and when I think of these statistics, I ask God to give me compassion and love that is like God's, so that I might care for all those with whom I share this fragile planet, that I might care for all those for whom Christ gave his life, that I might have a share of God's love that regards every one of God's servants as precious. My brothers and sisters, you precious beloved of God, be at peace.